Hello, this is the 232nd edition of Catch of the Day, available on the Branch Talk YouTube channel. Today we're going to continue reading from a book written by Doug Mitchell, entitled The Four Carpenters, The Ensign, The Time of Jacob's Trouble, and The First Deliverance, starting near the top of page 77. We read, "Again, we have testimony of how God has and is fulfilling his promise to continue to speak to us, that by having already set watchmen on the walls of Jerusalem, to properly identify those appointed watchmen and bind up their testimony, we have been given the following texts that are a depiction of that work. Whom shall he teach knowledge? And whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk, and drawn from the breast. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. For with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to this people, to whom he said, This is the rest, wherewith ye may cause the weary to rest. And this is the refreshing. Yet they would not hear. But the word of the Lord was unto them, precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little, and there a little, that they might go and fall backward, and be broken, and snared, and taken." Isaiah 28, 9-13. There we have 6 manifestations of God. 6 manifestations of the word of the Lord, which in the last step results in those to whom the word was preached being taken. By whom? By the Lord, of course. And to what purpose? That he may speak comfortably to them. But the stone, the 7 eyes, must also include that comforting meeting, that final binding up of the testimony. That complete work is depicted here. Go through the gates, prepare ye the way of the people, cast up the highway, gather out the stones, lift up a standard for the people. Isaiah 62:10. As we have other studies that deal with those particular prophecies and that specific work, we direct the reader to them. Dry Bones Extra and the Return of the Shekinah, Introduction to the 7 Thunders. As in the Revelation, all the books of the Bible meet an end. Acts of the Apostles 5:85. Then the truth of that stone must therein be revealed. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. To him that overcometh will I give to eat all the hidden manna, and will give him a white stone, and in the stone a new name written, which no man knoweth, saving he that receiveth it. Revelation 2:17. There we find a stone that has writing upon it. The Greek favors upon or on, rather than in, as noted in most modern translations, even a new name. To write upon a stone, one must use the talents of an engraver, a sharesh. That white stone is promised to those who overcome, and who chose to receive that new name. I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace, day nor night. Ye that make mention of the Lord, keep not silence. Isaiah 62:6. These are the watchmen under the new name. Isaiah 62:8-9. Reveal God's care and protection over his church. In the 10th verse is God's command to his people, Go through the gates, prepare ye the way of the people, cast up the highway, gather out the stones, lift up a standard for the people. In the 11th verse, God says, He has proclaimed to the people who shall live at the end of the world, Behold, the Lord hath proclaimed unto the end of the world. Say ye to the daughter of Zion, Behold, thy salvation cometh. Behold, his reward is with him, and his work before him. 1 SR 155. We know that part of the seal written on the foreheads of the saints is Jesus' new name, as it is the man whose name is the branch, who is to build the second antitypical temple, bear the glory, and sit upon the throne as a king and priest, and that the one stone has 7 eyes, complete vision, then that one stone must contain the truth of Jesus' new name, along with all of the other truths that make up the complete seal. As the church is to receive a new name, Isaiah 66:2, what better name could she receive than that of the bridegroom, the branch? Zechariah 4:9 reveals that the hands of Zerubbabel have laid the foundation of this house. His hands shall also finish it. This means that the messages of all of those who are symbolized by Zerubbabel, the founders of all phases of the work, will finish the work. We need not look elsewhere. Since Zerubbabel is a symbol of the builders of the temple, it is the work of Elijah the prophet who restores all things, including the temple. Then it is clear to see that Zerubbabel is another symbol of Elijah the prophet, which is the spirit of prophecy, the Holy Ghost in the prophets. This is further borne out by the fact that the hands messages of Zerubbabel are the only things that are described as laying the foundation and finishing the work of building the temple, as is the work of Elijah the prophet, the ever-living spirit of prophecy who restores all things. And as all of the preceding illuminates the fact that Zerubbabel is a figure of the work of the ever-living spirit of prophecy in the Advent message and movement, then the event portrayed in verse 7 becomes crystal clear. Who art thou, O great mountain, church? Before Zerubbabel the prophets, thou shalt become a plain, and he shall bring forth the headstone thereof with shoutings, crying, Grace, grace unto it. Zechariah 4:7. Zechariah's description of the great mountain becoming a plain accomplishes the same work as does the Lord's feet standing upon the Mount of Olives, and making a mighty valley, removing the obstacles and hindrances. As with much of the book of Zechariah, there are literal events intertwined with symbolic events. So it is with the 14th chapter, as we shall see. And his feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east. And the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof, toward the east and toward the west. And there shall be a very great valley, and half of the mountain shall remove toward the south, towards the north, and half of it toward the south. And ye shall flee to the valley of the mountains, for the valley of the mountains shall reach unto Azal. Yea, ye shall flee, like as ye fled from before the earthquake in the days of Uzzah king of Judah, and the Lord my God shall come, and all the saints with thee. Zechariah 14, verse 4 and 5. As the Lord's feet are symbolical, so must all the rest of the elements of the picture also be symbolical. Those elements are: 1. The feet standing on the Mount of Olives. 2. The Mount of Olives on the east of Jerusalem. 3. Jerusalem. 4.